All right, welcome back, everybody. Today, I want to talk about making money at the casino. Okay. First of all, you know, I don't recommend making this like your retirement plan or anything like that. Gambling in general, you're gonna end up losing in the long run. There's very few people that honestly, you know, make a living off this stuff. Typically, it's like the really, it's like, the people you hear about on TV, and it's probably like a handful of them that you could probably name off, and they're like the pro like poker players and stuff like that, like Texas Hold'em, all that jazz. I'm not really into that. I kind of go, I want to get in, get out. If that's your thing, cool. Um, but yeah, my my advice, if you're going to go to the casino to try and win money and actually walk out with it, is to don't go to gamble. Okay, and what I mean by that is um, go to win and then get the hell out. So, for instance, if you're playing blackjack, um, there's a reason why these casinos will feed you drinks, give you comps, give you a hotel room for the night, all those sorts of things. And really, it's just to keep you there because the longer that you're there, uh, the more likely you are to make bets. And when you're making bets, eventually the odds are always on the house. That's why they stay in business. Okay, so it's just odds are, just statistically, the longer you gamble, the more you gamble, the more chance they have of getting their money back or more of your money that you've already been losing, and that's just the way it is. If I was gonna play like, I know some people that play craps. Craps got good odds, some of the best odds. I don't get into that either. I stick to mainly like blackjack and honestly slots. Okay, that might be surprising, if we're talking about making money. um, and I'm going off experience too. Blackjack. My advice, and this could probably pertain to any of the other games. Okay. Again, if you're going to go to make money, um, this is what I would do. Okay, and have done in the past. And it's not always easy, and that's why I don't recommend going gambling because it's just hard to leave once you win, or if you're on a roll. Not to mention the other stuff that they try and throw at you to keep you there. But yeah, first of all, I don't play like $25 hands. And some people that might be a lot. You see people playing less than that in some casinos if they have lower limits like that, like 10 or something like that. I don't. If I'm gonna play blackjack and want to actually walk away with money and make a good amount of money fast, I'm gonna bet big hands. Okay, and for me, and probably for other people too, like $100, $200, $300 a hand. Okay, and I'm not gonna probably play too many hands. If I lose, I'm done. That's it. And that's the hard part about the casino because like you got all the way there. It's a nice atmosphere. You're having some drinks. You might be with some friends, and you know, being able to say, okay, I'm done. I've lost this amount of money. Let's say you lose it within the first few hands. You know, do not gamble again. Um, Now, on the other side of that, if you're betting big and you win one or two hands, and let's face it, for most people, especially if you're not like absolutely rich or upper middle class, a couple $100 is probably going to do go somewhere for you, right? Pay a bill, buy your groceries for the week, all that type of stuff. So, like I said, or if you're betting more, I bet more than that. Years ago, I don't really gamble like I don't gamble like I used to. But if you're gonna bet like $500 a hand, boom, you win one hand, you're done. That's it. Walk away. And you hear other people talk about that on higher levels, and I've seen like Dana White, for example, the UFC president. Like he'll get kicked out of casinos because, like he said, he don't go there and drink. He don't go there and do anything. He plays so many hands, and then if he's up, he's done. Keep all the other stuff. And that's really the best way to go if you can do that. And that's where they get you because it's not always easy to do that. And truthfully, I don't think it's probably that easy for him either because I've seen videos where he's continuously staying and losing money. But yeah, it's a tough thing to do if you're planning on doing that. Just don't go there with the intention of having fun. If you win a couple, maybe stay for a drink or two, but then get the hell out. That's honestly the best advice. And yeah, I do have a lot of experience gambling. I get my I was more so going back like 10 years ago, maybe not even that long ago. I go once in a while, and I still get free rooms for MGM. And after not going for years to Vegas, all the other casinos around the country for M Life and MGM Detroit, which is down the street from me. But surprisingly, I made a lot of money on slots, and it's not like the regular slots that you see on the main floor. I always go to the high limit room, okay? And by high limit, I typically mean I'm going to play at the very minimum $10 a spin. Very minimum. And if I'm winning a little bit on certain machines that I feel like I can hit off of, I might play some more, I'll have a limit at that point of how much I'm going to lose and walk away with. And not just break even, because if you break even, then you want to start playing again, and then you end up losing more. So it's like if you win $500, $200, say I'm gonna lose 100, right, and then I'm done. At least you walked away with something. And always use a card too, because if you do like comps and stuff like that, I'm kind of contradicting myself. You can get free rooms and stuff like that, and that can be fun, but you just got to have self-control. But yeah, $10 minimum, 15, 20, 25, 30. I've even played up to $100 a spin. And the thing with that is like you're far more likely to get a nice hit to where it's you're going to be, I say satisfied, but I've been in that situation where I wasn't satisfied still after hitting. I keep playing loose, but the likelihood of you hitting something good is way up there versus like a penny slot or a dollar. Or you go in the high limit room enough and you're walking around, you will see people hitting jackpots, whether it's 1,200 above or much more, quite often. It happens often, and they're getting the information for the your WG2 for your taxes. You don't really see that very often on the main floor, and I feel like again, it's like one of those things. If you're betting small, the likelihood of you winning something significant to where it's like worth the gamble, I guess, however you want to call it, is going to be low. Like you're probably not going. You might once in a while, but you probably went long enough and spent enough money to where you're so behind, it's not even worth it. Like to give you an example, and I keep receipts. Okay, I can get this information if you really want me to show it to you. I just suck at editing. But 2016 in the first quarter, I won over $30,000 in jackpots on slots in the high limit room. Okay, that was jackpots. That's 1,200 or above. That's not what I've accumulated in a single day there or whatever. I was winning a lot. I circulated like $250,000 in a quarter. Okay, I went from like the bottom card to a gold card within a quarter. And again, it's not like, hey, go do this because this works. I've lost a lot of it too because I didn't have that self-control. I'm going having fun, think I'm going to win more, want to win some back that I lost. That's where they get you. So, one thing I've noticed with like people who have gambling addiction, and you may not think you have it, but you gamble a lot and you lose. You probably do. Like eventually you stop going to win. Well, that sounds odd, but you stop going to the casino. I got my MGM Grand shirt on. But you stop going to win. You just go to purely gamble. It's to gamble. Like when you're gambling, you're firing off signals in your brain, chemicals, and that's how it becomes addictive. So it's like you don't even realize it, like because you go there and you win, and then you put it right back in the same day often, and eventually you probably put it in over time again. Like that's why these places are in business, okay? And the people that are really good at it, there's very few. The casino has the right to trespass you, so you just don't come back, which is pretty screwed up if you think about it, right? They don't kick you out because you've lost all your money and ruined your life. They actually want you to keep coming, like go do something and make some more money for us. Like it's kind of ridiculous. It should be against the law, to be honest with you. But if you go, that's my my advice. I don't advise gambling. You know, if spend what you can, have a good time without getting yourself in a hole. But just like anything else, like that shit can grab you and take a hold of you and ruin your life. Really suck you in. But yeah, if you're gonna play, bet big to your standard. Hit a couple, hopefully, and then just quit. Don't worry about all the other crap. Like you're not going to be on a streak to where you just start winning. Yeah, you hear about stuff once in a great while. They put that shit back in. And same thing with slots. I think it's a waste of time if you're going to play a penny slot and all this stuff. Granted, even when you're playing a penny slot, you're betting so many credits and it's like a $5, $10 spin, $3 spin. But even then, so you're just going to sit there long enough to lose. And if you do sit there long enough and spend enough money, let's say you spend $300. If you hit a 500, you're up 200, right? Or you're down still. So don't try to stay away from it. But moral of the story is if you're gonna play, do that. In my opinion, just my advice. If you lose, it's not my fault. It's your own. But I'm just giving my 2 cents, right? But good luck, everybody.